Hi, I'm Brian. Well, here we are, 4 years later. How are you doing? I'm all right. I just looked up, like I've aged quite a bit. You still look the same.
Great.
Okay, so what we have learned in 4 years. Have we learned anything? I haven't.
I was going to say, have you learned anything?
I've learned that my hair is turning very light. It's turning very white because I've got a lot more gray hair, so when I dye it, it's really white. Everything. Okay, number one. Let's just get right into it. The first thing that we have learned is that everything takes longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, maybe we should start off by saying, hey, it's Brian and Pam, and we live off-grid, and we have lived off-grid for 4 years. March 5th was our 4-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Our plan was to live in the RV, build a carport and a shed to put our stuff in, and do a straw bale, a house out of straw bale.
I don't even think we knew it was strawbale when we came here, but
We didn't.
Right.
We had some earth ship books. That's hard to say. Earth. Okay. Okay, what else? If we had it to do over again, what would we do differently? Well, the RV is very it's not efficient, and we definitely would have done some sort of an RV cover, right?
yeah.
Are you going to say anything? Normally you won't stop
I'm
talking.
trying to let you talk more.
Okay. What does that say?
You're welcome, viewers.
What does that say? I can't even shed
It's
building.
your own writing.
Oh, I know what it was. So I wish that I hadn't been. I was in such a hurry, which I always do that, and Brian always has to be the voice of reason.
Well, but there was a reason. So once we decided we were going to do it and we bought the land, I guess the real thing was pulling the trigger on the job, right? And me quitting my job, because
Yes.
once you do that, then you have to kind of be in a hurry because you can't just keep paying a mortgage. So that
right.
was really the driver, right? Was selling the
No,
house.
but what I'm saying
Was quitting
is,
the job and selling the house. So we could have decided to buy this land and then, maybe take 6 months or whatever to kind of keep the job, travel back and forth, set something up here. Sure.
That's
if I had
what
to do
I
over
mean.
again, yes, that would be my advice to most.
we got in too big of a hurry, and I mean, he was ready. You got like fuzz on you. He was ready to retire,
Yes.
and my stomach's growling, so sorry. Hopefully you won't hear that. But I wish that this is just another option that I wish that we had done. Maybe get one of those little shed thingies, or what do you call them? Cottage, cabin, whatever. And then I know that it's not as simple as just throwing an RV here, but
Right.
we would have been a lot more comfortable.
You can,
in that.
you can be more comfortable. You can be more energy efficient. Especially if you get one that's well insulated or insulate it yourself or whatever. Sure, you can do that, but they present their own problems, right? The beauty of an RV is it's kind of ready to go. You just kind of plug it in, right? You plug in for electricity, you plug in for waste, you plug in to bring water in, assuming you have access to those things, and you're good to go.
Yeah, because those little sheds, you have to worry about kitchen, plumbing.
Yeah. If it's a shed, yeah, you have to kind of
those are big
build
things.
your own kitchen area, bring in your own electricity and get it to where it needs to go. Bring in your own water and get it where it needs to go. Do your shower, bathroom type deal, whatever. Again, I mean, you can do either. And there are advantages and disadvantages to both. So it's easy to say now, oh, we should live in one of those, but it's not quite that simple, right? Because this has the refrigerator, this has the plugs, this has the water, this has the
yeah. I mean,
that's a huge advantage. It just happens to be very energy inefficient.
The temperatures, and really, it's mainly like in the morning. In the wintertime, it's in the morning. Then in the summertime, you're struggling in the afternoon,
late afternoon,
and
or evening.
So that goes into my next thing, which was I wish we would have had more solar panels instead of 6 panels.
Yeah.
If we had known that it was going to be that long, we probably would have gotten more panels hooked up.
And a lot of this we've talked about before, and we realized, a long time ago. But yeah, when we set up the solar with help, it wasn't quite understood by us or our help that how inefficient the RV was. So a lot of what was done in terms of panels and capacity and things, right, was based on just the size of the RV and the things that might be in the RV, a refrigerator, a whatever, right? And if you just do those numbers on paper, they work out to some values, right? And that's what everything was based on. But what wasn't accounted for was that an RV refrigerator doesn't behave like a regular refrigerator. An RV refrigerator doesn't behave like a regular refrigerator.
Right.
An RV, in general, the envelope of the building, it's just because it happens to be a room of X dimensions, it doesn't behave like every other room of X dimensions because its walls are very thin. The insulation is almost non-existent in them. So when it comes to heating and cooling, it's a whole different world than if you had built a building of this size and insulated it. So
even if we had put
it's
a
not
cover,
quite that simple, right? There's a lot more to it.
That cover would have been great in the summertime, but then in the wintertime you want the sun.
Well, it's just like building a passive solar home. You can still have the cover of it. The idea is the cover is right overhead, the same way as your roof on your house is right overhead, right? And you have a little bit of an overhang so that in the summer when the sun is high, it doesn't come in the windows and stuff. So it'll protect you from the summer sun. But in the winter, when the sun has gone, down lower in the south, it still comes in under that cover. So that cover behaves just like your roof overhang on a home that you build that's passive solar. You can have this. I don't know why this is.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why.
No, other people
talking about real
understand.
things put you to sleep.
No, my brain is just going,
What I'm
does
saying
not
is,
compute.
there's not a problem in the winter with having a cover over your RV. The sun moves.
Yes, I get it.
It doesn't come right overhead, so the cover doesn't hurt you in the winter. That's the same way a roof works on a house.
Sorry, I'm just, how you start to lose me after a minute or so. Did I get everything in there? Oh, one thing that we didn't account for was just life in general gets in the way.
I wouldn't say that we didn't
Not
account
gets in
for
the
it,
way,
but it plays into that everything takes longer. So
Everything takes longer.
Many people might. I have a good friend, Craig, and he knows this. It's tempting to when you want to take on a project. It's tempting to say I'm gonna ram a bunch of tires, right? I'm gonna fill a bunch of tires. It's tempting to say, oh, one tire takes me whatever, right? 20 minutes or whatever it might be. It's tempting to say, I can do 100 tires in 20 minutes times 100. Well, real life happens, right? You get tired, you get thirsty, you eat, your body family comes to visit.
Yeah.
You get tired of it and you want to take a break. Yeah, you get hurt. The weather happens. Your car breaks down. So it really plays into the things taking longer. Things take longer because even though we've come out here to get away from a lot of things that other people deal with, largely one of the big ones I'll admit is like utility bills and stuff, right? Again, not that it's free, there's an initial investment to get beyond that, but one of the beauties of living the way we live is we don't pay an electric bill, a water bill, all these things, right? And that's great. But there are parts of normal life that you really can't escape. You know, if you drive a car, that car's going to need maintenance. You know, you're going to need tires, you're going to need brakes, you're going to have to stop for those things and either do them yourself or pay someone else to do them, so that's going to affect your budget. And so it's just, you can't look at the things you do in a vacuum, you know, by themselves. Real life is still happening around you. You still have relatives and friends that you visit and they visit you, and you still have maintenance to do on vehicles, and
Yes.
all those things still happen. So they don't go away. So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons, one of the major reasons that things take longer than you think. You can't just put it on paper and take one task and multiply it times 100 and think you're going to be there. It
also,
just doesn't work that way.
We're not, I don't think that we're the typical off-gridder, whereas like a lot of people that are doing this,
Yeah.
they're working constantly, and we
Yeah.
don't want to do that. Which is why it's taken us 4
And
years.
it was by choice, and we knew that going in, right? Everybody's different, right? Some people that are doing this to really cut off, and we are too, to cut off from a lot of the world. But some people will go really kind of hermit mode, right? And they might just be doing their own thing. And if that's the case, then maybe you can build a lot faster and do a lot of stuff. We knew coming into this, yes, one of the reasons we did this was to kind of separate from a lot of the things we don't like about normal society and normal lives, right? We like a different life. But we are still social people, and we still have our connections back in that normal life, and we still go visit our friends, and we still take breaks and things like that. So we knew that going in. So I think we were realistic about it. I wouldn't say any of this really surprised us. I just like to share with others that you have to know who you are when you're getting into this. Know whether you're really going to buckle down and work on projects just nonstop, you know, from sun up to sundown or whatever. Or, you know, if you're still kind of a social animal and you're still going to kind of have ties back to the real world, that's going to impact how things are going to move for you on your homestead. So there are people who dive into it and that's all they do, and they might move a whole lot faster. And then there's us, we're on the other side of that, where we took our time on purpose because we wouldn't have been happy otherwise. If we came out here and completely cut ourselves off from the world and just project, you know, yeah, would we have got a lot done a lot faster? Sure. Would we have been happy? No.
Also,
and that wasn't our goal.
You've got to know what you're doing and how to do it, and if you don't know how to do it, then you're going to have to find somebody
That's another thing. And
to
again,
help you that knows how to do it.
Everybody's different. Everybody has a different mindset going in. Everybody has a different skill set going in. If you're one of those people who want to just dive into a project, you know, everybody does a little bit of research or whatever, just different levels. But if you dive into a project, you might end up doing that project 2-3 times before you get it right. Or you might be one of those who reads, talks, thinks before you take anything on. Now, hopefully, at the end of that, the project goes a little better. But again, just be realistic about who you are and how it's going to work. I guess what we're trying to say is these are not things that necessarily surprised us. I don't think. I think we were very realistic about this whole situation when it came to money, when it came to time. I think we were quite real. Actually,
I didn't know about the time.
Yes, the time has surprised you. It has not surprised me. Not at all. Not at all. It has surprised you. But these things don't have to be surprises. It's just, don't go into this without setting an expectation, a realistic expectation, based on who you are, of what you can achieve and how quickly you can achieve it and how you're going to go about it and what it's going to take in terms of time and money and all those things. So just be realistic about that. That's my best advice to everybody, is know who you are.
It's frustrating because I never thought about how long, and like each detail is just takes so much longer than you think it's going to. And it's like, well, because I'm not physically able to do a lot of the things, I just have to kind of wait. And I'm by nature a little bit impatient. So I'm annoying to him. I don't want to be, but yeah, sometimes
I would
it's hard.
imagine that most people that fail at this fail because they had unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
They were not realistic going in about what they were going to be able to accomplish and what kind of people they were and everything. That's where you're going to fail. If you're realistic about who you are and how you're going to approach this, there's a good chance you're going to succeed. A lot of people fail at this, I'm sure. I don't know all of them or whatever, but I'm sure a lot of people do. Most of them you probably never hear from.
Right. And especially those who try to film everything while they're
By the way,
trying
that's
to do
another
it.
thing that slows everything down, of course. And again, none of this is new. None of this is really a surprise. It's just for those people out there that are thinking about this and are like, oh, what advice would you give somebody? Or, you've been at this a while. What have you learned? I wouldn't say we didn't know this going in, but there's still the same things that are important. Be realistic about what you're getting into. Don't overestimate yourself. If you overestimate yourself, there's a good chance you're going to be one of those failure cases.
And it's not easy. It is definitely
not at all. It's not easy. It's not free.
Easy, and it's
We've
not
said that
free.
a million times. I think people get into this thinking, I've got a couple $100 in the bank. Let me make a run for it. That's not going to work. Or at least it's going to be really, really hard. So
we definitely made a lot of sacrifices, and we're very frugal. We saved and saved and saved.
But there's sacrifices that we're willing to make to have this. So we're okay with that.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I like splurging every now and then, which, by the way, since you got, we have a little bit of money coming in now, it's just like a weight has been lifted because we weren't sure what we were going to do. And now I feel so much better.
Just FYI, I said in the beginning, we had a nest egg. We started with a nest egg, a pretty good sized nest egg, I think. And the idea was we can take some amount of time. I didn't know exactly how long it would be. I knew it would be a while. I believed it would be longer than she believed, I guess. But we did pretty well. I think we were quite realistic. We still have money to finish. We had enough, I believe, to finish our build, which was the idea. And then even after the build to kind of sit and evaluate. But I knew even from the beginning, the idea from the beginning was always, once we get to that point, after we've done the build and everything, and we didn't know back then whether that answer was YouTube or just regular jobs or whatever.
It's definitely not YouTube.
But not for us. Not for us. It can be.
Well,
it can be for some people.
You have to have a lot of subscribers.
You have to make YouTube into a job.
Which
is totally doable. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, be realistic about what you're going to do. I probably overestimated what I could do on YouTube. That's fine. That happened. But anyway,
you never know until you try.
We knew we were going to reach a point. And that point is coming, but I was pretty good, I think, about being realistic about it. But we got lucky in that I was able to take on some work remotely, part-time. Not everybody has that option, so we're very lucky in that way, and it's given us a little bit of breathing room, and we're very thankful for it. But, you just go with it, go with the flow. So that has happened. If somebody asked me, like, what one thing would you tell me if you're that person who wants to take this on and I want to walk away from the regular world and I'm going to quit my job or whatever, which, by the way, you don't necessarily, especially anymore, don't have to quit your job. But anyway, if you said, I want to do this, what's your best piece of advice? Yeah, there are all the physical things about, we should have built a cover over the trailer and blah, blah, blah. The best piece of advice I can give you is know who you are. Know what you can and cannot do.
Physically
and that's
mentally.
Either you yourself, if you're one person, or if you're a team or a family or whatever, know what you're capable of and be realistic about it. Be realistic about what you're actually going to do.
Oh yeah, 4 years. Happy anniversary. And thank you to everybody that has stuck with us for all this time. Especially
recently. I know we've slowed down for sure. Again, I mentioned the job and everything. This is just another little wrinkle in our journey, right? It has definitely slowed me down as far as building and filming and all those things.
It's a good wrinkle.
I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep doing it. But the schedule may change. So I appreciate everybody that hangs in there and watches our videos. I'm sorry that maybe we don't have it might not be possible to follow us on a daily or weekly basis or whatever. But if you ever want to know what we're up to, feel free to reach out to us. We still always respond to comments. I wait a little while before I respond back to them. I'll do them in a group or whatever, but it might not be same day or whatever. But we get back to everything, so feel free to ask us anything you like.
And you can see day-to-day stuff on. I usually do at least probably 2 to 3 videos on my channel. It may not interest you as much as the building stuff, but if you want to see what's up, then...
And then things like Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Pam does that stuff much more often, so if you want to know what we're up to, feel free to look out there.
And I'm not, like... I don't know why, but I have a hard time on Instagram, like, figuring things out. I'm not...
The gram.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing on there. I don't either. So it's not user friendly to me. I can navigate Facebook better. But anyway, thanks y'all, and I think that's it. We'll see y'all around.
So catch you on the flippity flop.
All right, bye. Hey everybody, thanks for watching.
If you liked what you saw, please hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing or sharing with a friend. And click the bell notification so you never miss any of our videos.
We really appreciate every view and comment. And if you're looking for other ways to support us, please check out the links in the description box.
See you in the next video.